So since June this year, we have seen selling in this company called Singapore Airlines, SIA, and it's sold off by more than 20%, and is the worst over. Alright, are we starting to see some signs of strength coming back, and can we potentially start to position ourselves to ride a potential upside or gains of maybe more than 30%? Hey guys, Joey here, top tier MyZero trader in Philip Securities, and in this video, I'll be talking about Singapore Airlines, SIA, and where we right now. What are some of the things we have seen for SIA in terms of the weakness coming back, some of the support levels that have broken down, and are there actually signs of strength? Are there actually signs of the uptrend starting to form? And what should we actually look out for? So watch this video all the way to the end if you want to know what to do for SIA right now, if you're holding on to it, if you're looking to buy, maybe looking to get out. What should you be doing right now, right? So let's dive into SIA right now. I'll look at the charts and then we'll dive into the system that I have as well. So I have a system called 1GT system called One Good Trend that actually guides us on entry and exit. And for SIA, we actually had a couple of bullish signals since the beginning of the year. It actually went up, but then started to see weakness and selling came back. We had some bearish signals. So let's see what is happening right now to SIA. So this is SIA trading at about $6.31 right now. You can see over here. So before I talk about where we are right now, let me just dive into what has happened for SIA over the past 2 to 3 years just after COVID. So you can see that somewhere around like end of 2020, we saw signs of the uptrend reversal for SIA, right? Around October, November 2020 when it talks about a vaccine and all that. And many of the airlines in the world started to see a gradual recovery. And since the beginning of 2021, we started to see what we call a very gradual uptrend. Is what we call higher lows that were found right over here. So it kind of like formed higher lows, it kind of like traded lower, buyers came back and pushed prices back up. So this is what we call a very gentle uptrend, and we can also draw an upward sloping channel support line connecting these lows, which is actually getting higher and higher. All right, but take note that we actually formed this very key resistance level for SIA around the $5.60 level right over here. So for like about a year, more than a year and a half, we were actually consolidating below this $5.60 resistance until somewhere around beginning of 2023. This year, finally, we broke this resistance, went up to about $6, traded below it, and finally attempted to break the key $6 level somewhere around May. So that was a really good move because $6 is pretty much a psychological level, and if you do see a very firm bullish price action above $6 with signs of the trend turning up, it is a really good move. So we kind of like caught for that stock. I caught for it somewhere around May when it happened, I think about $6.05, $6.10, and it has traded all the way up to around $8. So let me go ahead to draw what we call resistance level right here at about $8, and within like a week we started to sell down. So that's where we have seen weakness for SIA. So let me go ahead to draw what we call a support level. So we were actually consolidating, all right, right at this support level somewhere around the $7.10. You can see rebounded, but we kind of like broke down and selling actually happened. So there was some short-term weakness that came back for SIA after breaking the $7.10 support, and even the $6.50 support gave way as well, and we started heading down all the way back to around that $6. So as I mentioned, right, $6 was a very, very critical resistance level whereby we have been trading below for 2-3 years since 2020, 2021. And when we finally got above it, that resistance has broken, and it will be now what we call a support level. So yeah, about 2-3 weeks back, finally we headed towards that $6 support level, and thankfully there was some buying pressure that came back, and we even saw quite a good bullish reversal candles coming out around that $6 level as well, whereby we saw another bullish candle started to push away from the $6, and that is still now the support level. So what is the outlook for SIA right now? Are there signs of the trend finally turning up in the short term? I mean, as I mentioned, right, somewhere around like June, all right, August, right, right over here, August. I mean, June we went all the way up. August we broke the 710, and there were signs of the short-term trend turning down. How do we know that? Well, we can see that when we broke down this support level at about $7.10, the 20 days moving average, this is what we call the short-term moving average, it was actually flattening out. Look at this, right? It was moving sideways, and it started to slope down as we broke the $7.10 support level. So when that happens, that can signal what we call some short-term weakness, because the trend is starting to turn down in the short term. Does it make sense? And all this while, since like August, we have seen weakness. The 20 days moving average has pointed down, until over the past 1 week. Look at this, right? You can see that the 20 days moving average has started to flatten out and maybe even just start to point up. Does it make sense? Right? So this 20 days moving average has started to point out. Finally, after 5 months, we are seeing some signs of the short-term trend starting to point up. And of course, I mentioned, right, around the $6 mark, there were also what we call some bullish reversal candles. So all these are starting to point to some signs of a reversal finally to the short-term trend. And for the longer-term trend, you can see that the longer-term trend, well, it was pretty much pointing up all the way from last 2 years, even all the way to like May and June this year. But there were some signs of it, gradually starting to weaken or starting to maybe flatten out, as what we see from the 200 days moving average is kind of like flattening out. But for the short-term trend, as I mentioned, there are signs of it starting to just reverse back up. So it's only like 1 week plus whereby this 20 days moving average is sloping up right now with prices holding above it. So it looks quite good. So what could be the confirmation, or where could the potential entry level be if you would like to actually ride the reversal phase all the way up to like $7, $8? Where could you potentially time your entry? Well, I would say that right now we are seeing some support coming in from about $6 to $6.20, $6.25. I think potentially somewhere around here. So let me just show it for you. That's potentially where some bargain hunting can come back again, right? Maybe about $6 to $6.10, $6.20, $6.30, somewhere around here. Some bargain hunting is starting to come back. Buyers are slowly coming back to get in on dips, right, for a potential reversal all the way up to that $6.50. So as I mentioned, right, $6.50 was this support level right over here whereby we broke down in October, went all the way to $6. So now $6.50 would be what we call the resistance level, whereby we might see a bit of selling. But if $6.50 were to give way, that would be a good thing. That would be more confirmation in terms of the reversal happening all the way to $7.10. And if that gives way, well, pretty much we can hit back all the way towards that $8, right? Recent high that we've seen somewhere around June. All right, so this is SIA, one of those stocks that we like, right? One of the stocks that we have seen weakness, but it has always been in my watch list because we are waiting for kind of like the shorter term trend to stabilize, to stop pointing down at least, and maybe even to show signs of reversal. That's where you can potentially start to think about getting back in to ride the upside reversal. Does it make sense? All right, so this is SIA right over here. So let's take a look at what I see on my system. So I have a system called 1GT, in short, one good trend, which is pretty much the strategy for our positions. And we actually had a couple of bullish and bearish signals for SIA. So let's take a look at what it says right now, and if there are any signs of maybe a bullish signals coming back to ride the reversal as well. Alright, so this is SIA on my 1GT system. So I'll not go too far, but no, we had a couple of like bullish signals coming in, what we call somewhere around end of last year, October. The trend button from red to green. So some signs of an uptrend starting to form more firmly. Alright, green arrow pointing up. This is what we call a bullish entry signal. Started to push up, another bullish entry signal push up. And I'd like to bring your attention to this signal right over here, somewhere around 20th of April this year, right? So 20th April this year, we got this bullish entry signal, is a green arrow pointing up. Of course, there was one in March as well. But for this April signal, started to consolidate a little bit. And about 2-3 weeks later, we broke that $6. Remember the $6 resistance level I talked to you about? All right, and it was a really firm move as it's traded all the way up, more than 20-30% upside until we got an exit, right? We got an exit, started to consolidate sideways a little bit, and I talk about this support that was broken. Remember the $7.10. So when that broke, right, you can see that we got what we call a bearish signal coming out. This is a red arrow pointing down. So that's where I mentioned there were some signs of the short-term trend turning down, with the 20 days moving average pointing down, the support broken. We have rebounded here once, but it finally broke, and this bearish signal started to play out, started to head down from $7.10 to about $6.70. Another bearish signal came out, went all the way down. Another bearish signal came out somewhere in October. It went all the way down, and finally we got an exit right over here on the 2nd of November, just about 2 weeks back, 2 or 3 weeks back. We got this exit signal, all right? And right now you can see the price about $6.30. So there are still no bullish entry signal out, right? But as I mentioned, there are some signs of the trend starting to turn up. So if we do see like a bullish entry signal, like a green, maybe an arrow over here, a green arrow pointing up, that could lead the reversal back up, especially if we break the 650. I think that bullish entry signal might start to really come back out, and that could lead the reversal all the way up to maybe about $7 to $8. So we'll see how it plays out, but essentially we do have a system to guide us not only to get in to ride the upside, but also to get out and maybe potentially to get back in again when there are signs of the reversal happening. Alright guys, so there we have it. This is Singapore Airlines. So I hope you have a better idea of where we are right now. So if you're looking to time your entry, hopefully you can get in near $6, $6.20, $6.30. And if that $6.50 resistance level to the giveaway, I think that would be a good thing. We'll see if that reversal actually happen. As I mentioned, there could potentially be a new bullish entry signal coming out if that actually happens. Alright, so Joey here. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like this video, guys, go ahead to give me a like and smash the subscribe button as well, so that you will not miss out on videos like this, and that will really help out the channel as well. So you're gonna find out a little bit more on the strategy or how to get access to this system as well. We don't have any webinars running right now, but you can click on the link around this video or below it to download this free report, this trend trading report that shares with you a little bit more on my strategy, be on my email list, get some of my top ideas, and we'll let you know when there are any new webinars in the future whereby you can learn a little bit more on this strategy. Alright, so Joey here, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.